In the ancient heart of the Chola Empire, where the fertile plains of the Kaveri Delta meet the rhythmic waves of the Bay of Bengal, there lies a land once shrouded in the intoxicating fragrance of wild jasmine. This was the Mullaivanam, a mystical forest where the air was so thick with the scent of white blossoms that it felt like a veil between the mortal world and the heavens. This sacred ground is known today as Then Thirumullaivasal, the southern gateway of the Jasmine Woods. Thousands of years ago, this was not a place of stone temples and bustling pilgrims, but a wild, untamed sanctuary where the divine chose to hide in plain sight. During the glorious era of the Chola dynasty, a powerful king was traversing this region with his grand royal procession. He was a ruler of immense strength and deep piety, traveling atop his massive royal elephant, surrounded by his finest warriors and advisors. The sun filtered through the dense canopy of the Jasmine Forest, casting dancing shadows upon the forest floor. The king marveled at the beauty of his kingdom, unaware that he was about to encounter a miracle that would change his life and the history of this land forever. Suddenly, the progress of the royal elephant came to a jarring halt. The great beast, known for its ability to crush boulders and uproot trees, stood frozen. The mahout prodded the animal, and the soldiers pushed from behind. But the elephant remained anchored to the earth. It was as if the very ground had reached up to claim the animal. The king, puzzled and sensing a strange energy in the air, looked down. He saw that the elephant's legs were intricately entangled in a thick, sprawling web of wild jasmine creepers. These vines were not ordinary. They seemed to have a life of their own, gripping the elephant with a silent, immovable strength. The king's initial wonder quickly turned to frustration. To a monarch accustomed to absolute authority, this delay felt like a challenge to his power. How can a mere cluster of flowers stop the march of a Chola king, he thought. His warriors tried to hack at the vines with small knives, but the creepers seemed to multiply and tighten their grip. Infuriated and sensing an ill omen in this sudden paralysis, the king drew his legendary royal sword. The blade caught the sunlight, gleaming with a cold, sharp light. With a roar of command, he swung the heavy steel downward, intending to sever the roots of the jasmine vines and clear the path for his army. As the sword bit into the soil, a sound echoed through the forest that silenced every bird and beast. It was not the snap of wood or the rustle of leaves. It was a deep, resonant vibration that seemed to come from the very core of the earth. And then the horror began. From the spot where the king's sword had struck the ground, a fountain of warm crimson blood erupted. It sprayed into the air, staining the white jasmine flowers and soaking the king's royal robes. The king stood paralyzed, his heart hammering against his ribs. This was not the sap of a plant, it was the lifeblood of a living being. Overcome with a sudden, chilling realization, the king threw down his sword and fell to his knees. He began to dig into the blood-soaked earth with his bare hands, his fingers trembling with fear and devotion. As he cleared away the mud and the shredded remains of the jasmine vines, a smooth, dark stone began to emerge. It was a Shiva Lingam, a naturally formed pillar of light and stone representing Lord Shiva himself. To the king's absolute horror, he saw a deep, jagged gash on the crown of the lingam. His sword had struck the head of the Mahadeva. The blood was flowing from the wound he had inflicted upon his own god. The king's grief was boundless. He wailed in the middle of the silent forest, washing the wounded lingam with his tears. "I am a sinner. I have struck the source of all life," he cried. In his immense guilt, the king prepared to take his own life, believing that only his death could atone for such a sacrilege. But at that moment, the forest was filled with a celestial light that outshone the midday sun. From the heart of the jasmine thicket, Lord Shiva appeared, riding his sacred bull, Nandi. His countenance was not one of anger, but of infinite fatherly compassion. "Rise, O king," the divine voice echoed, vibrating through the trees. "Do not be consumed by guilt. This was not an act of sin, but a divine play to reveal my presence in this jasmine grove. I chose to be entangled in these vines so that you would find me. The wound you gave me is a mark of your devotion, a scar I shall carry to show the world that I am always with my children, even in their moments of ignorance." The Lord blessed the king, and the blood miraculously ceased to flow, leaving behind a permanent scar on the stone. Because the Lord was discovered amidst the jasmine vines, he became known to the world as Sri Mullaivananathar. From the land of timeless wisdom to the world, this is Deva Bhumi Worldwide. Subscribe, and share this journey with someone who believes in the divine.